back to my YouTube channel. My name is Khalif. Welcome back. I'm so excited to be back, and I really am excited to talk about this particular topic tonight. Um, over the weekend, it over the weekend in Los Angeles, there was the NAACP Image Awards. It was their 54th year. And something pivotal occurred this weekend, which to me was it was a very culturally shifting moment for black trans youth and black trans people, right? And black people in general, right? Just for the entire black community. Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, they were given the President's Award and they were jointly recognized for their advocacy work. Their racial equity and LGBTQ equality, and racial equality as well. And it was just such a beautiful acceptance speech that both Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union gave in regards to their daughter Zaya Wade. And some of the things that Dwayne Wade, he spoke first. And if you all don't know who Dwayne Wade is, he's a famous basketball player. And Gabrielle Union, she's an actress, best known for what, Bring It On, Deliver Us from Eva, Who Can Play That Game, naming a few of Being Mary Jane on BET. So Gabrielle Union has had a wonderful, phenomenal career, and so has Dwayne Wade with his sports career. But to me, it was just so magical, you all. Like it was. Let me put my mic here. It was very magical because to see a black family support their black trans daughter, and specifically for a black father, right? Dwayne Wade, to be a black father and to get on stage and declare his support and his love for Zaya, it was just so touching. He kept reiterating how he will stand proudly with and for his daughter, and how he supports her, and how he acknowledges the courage that she has to be so brave and be herself, especially with a lot of the hate that Zaya has received right on the internet. And when Zaya came out as trans in 2020, she was receiving a lot of comments, negative comments on her social media. She had to dismantle the comments on her Instagram page. So it was just a very shocking time for not just Zaya and the Wades and Gabrielle Union. It was a shocking time for black culture and black entertainment, right? Because you see a sports player and an actress supporting their black trans child, right? And we all know that there's negativity that comes with that, right? Typically within the black community, I'm gonna call it out, I'm gonna say it, the black community, and by the way, there are a lot of other black trans women who say the exact same thing that I do, that I'm gonna say, but the black community is typically not the most inclusive, right? We tend to be very well, I'm not gonna say we, but the black community, my community, tends to not be that accepting of LGBTQ people, but we do live in a time where progress has been made, right? So while we do know that the hate comments exist and that the disdain exists, where you'll have more conservative black people who will literally run to religion. They'll run to religion, and religion is always the basis of their disapproval, or them stating why they will not support, right? Why they won't support a trans person, a trans youth, a trans child, a gay person, a gay youth, a gay child, a lesbian, bisexual, across the whole rainbow tribe, LGBTQ identities, right? Usually religion is always the culprit. Religion is something that is always ran to when this occurs. But I was just so happy because I remember growing up and being a young trans girl and really feeling that, and not having any support whatsoever from my parents, right? Like just not having that particular support. And y'all know I don't like to get too deep, but that's my story, right? And it's a lot of our stories. It's a lot of our stories where we usually grow up and then we have to kind of go away and literally go away and seek safety so we could transition and live our lives and be who we are, right? It's so beautiful because to me it was magical because you rarely, I don't know, you rarely see black families that embrace trans children. Like, we just got to a point where, some black families are like accepting gay and lesbian and bisexual children, right? That's a little bit more common now. Although there are still complexities and difficulties with that sector, of the community. But trans people specifically, you don't really see that often. A lot of our stories are the same. A lot of our stories, we usually go for it and go for our transition, rather we're trans women, trans men, whoever we are, and we're met with a lot of being disowned, a lot of rejection, met with a lot of rejection, a lot of criticism, a lot of shame, right? So I just want to highlight the positivity, and I'm echoing what everyone else is saying on the internet. I'm seeing everyone be so happy. And to me, I really think it's beautiful, and it just gives all of us hope. When I see someone like Zaya Wade, that literally gives me hope as a trans woman, right, who did not have that. But it's so beautiful to see someone have that, right? And it's a reminder that the world is progressing despite the other things that we have going on, like women's rights being attacked, trans rights being attacked, LGBTQ rights altogether being attacked, all of these different things, individuals being attacked over their race, right, or over our race, over our ethnic differences, right? There is so much ugly that's going on in this world, but it's just so beautiful, genuinely. Like, I just wanted to get on and rant and talk about that, because you just never really see that often. And the way that Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, they've been so dedicated to learning about the trans community, right? But also advocating and learning and showing the world you can also embrace your trans child too. This is where the work starts, right? And also too, what I loved about not just Wade's portion of his speech and him declaring his support, Gabrielle Union did a call to action. She was like, look, are we going to advocate for some or all, right? She was like, we are in a new era of advocacy. This is a completely new area of advocacy, and we need to start advocating for all Black people across the gender spectrum, sexuality, and so forth. So for both of them to be Black cishet people, right? Black people who are non-trans, to just stand and declare that so boldly at the NAACP Image Awards, and also kind of call it out a little bit about how the NAACP may have not always had the best representation, or even had any representation of trans people, right? Which I think they have. I think they had Angelica Ross there. I think Angelica and Janet Mock probably did a little bit with them, I think, over the last few years. But I say all that to say, I love how Gabrielle Union did it as a moment of accountability, right? I took it as her saying, like, we need to be accountable for what we have missed and how we turn a blind eye, because Black trans people are dying every day. Black trans people are literally targeted in the world. And we are, even to this day. When we look at trans deaths, when we have TDOR, right? When we have the Transgender Day of Remembrance, you see Black trans people being, going through a lot, and lives being taken away, and also brown people as well, Latin people as well, having their lives taken, right? And it's done with either intimate partner violence, or, being hurt by a family member and so forth, or hate crimes, right? So I just want to acknowledge that on my channel. Like, it's so beautiful to see a Black man and a Black woman support a Black trans girl, a young girl who's starting her journey in her life, and really, really holding her down and just standing behind her and saying, we're by your side, right? That's the only way that we can all elevate. And we have to get out of the scarcity mindset within our community of, our oppression is this, or my oppression is more than you, and if a trans person gets this, and me as a Black woman, I won't get this, or me as a Black man, I won't get this anymore, and what about me? We have to move forward with that. We're all stronger together, and we all are so very much so Black people, And I just wanted to share that, because it's so beautiful. Because I remember being in high school, and all I saw was Isis King. She was the only one who I saw in America's Next Top Model in high school. She was one of the first to inspire me to be like, dang, I could do anything that I want. I didn't even want to model. I don't want to model at all. I want to be a journalist, child. But Isis King, and then after that, you see women like Laverne and Janet and T.S. Madison, and you just see, and all the other ones who were not even famous, right? You just see so many Black trans women and Black trans men, like Teak Milan and stuff, but also the people who are on the front lines directly, the people who are doing the advocate jobs and doing nonprofit and doing all these different jobs who are not famous. You see all of us coming out and living in our truth and really trying to push the needle forward, right? So that speech was just a beautiful, beautiful example of how the needle is still being moved. And I don't know, it just gave me a lot of hope and it made me super excited. Drop down in the comments, let me know what you think about this particular video and what were your thoughts about Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union's speech as they accepted the President's Award at the 54th annual NAACP Image Awards. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to, drop down in the comments, like, share, subscribe. Also follow me on Twitter at Khalif Now, that's KALEEFNOW, and also follow me on Instagram at Khalif Now, that's KALEEFNOW. And also to check out my podcast. My podcast is called The Perfect Blend Podcast. Thank you for coming back to my channel and checking me out. I am so grateful for y'all, and you'll see me soon.